സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ടോ? കവിത മിസ് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ? കവിത മിസ് ഒന്ന് വീഡിയോ ഒന്ന് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യോ?
Okay, we can start.
കവിത മിസ് ഒന്ന് വീഡിയോ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യോ? ഓക്കെ. ഷീബ മിസ് ഞാനൊരു ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ആഡ് എന്നിട്ടോട്ടെ.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ.
ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി കോളേജിൽ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഭാവിയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ആശങ്ക പലതായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ സുന്ദരമായ ആ ക്യാമ്പസിലേക്ക് കയറി ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ആത്മവിശ്വാസം എനിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. നല്ല സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ, സംശയമകറ്റി വെളിച്ചം പകർന്നു തന്ന അധ്യാപകർ, പുതിയ ആശയങ്ങൾ നൽകിയ ലൈബ്രറി, ഏകാഗ്രതയും നല്ല ഓർമ്മകളും നൽകിയ ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകൾ, ഡിജിറ്റൽ ലോകത്തേക്ക് പറക്കാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ച കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ലാബ്. അങ്ങനെ MES കോളേജ് എന്നെ ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണുവാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ വളരെ ഹാപ്പിയാണ്. സ്വപ്നങ്ങളെ പിന്നിലാക്കി ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ പറന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. യു ഹാവ് ടു ഡ്രീം ബിഫോർ യുവർ ഡ്രീംസ് ക്യാൻ കം ട്രൂ.
MES College, Erumely, proposed PO, Erumely, Kottayam, unaided arts and science college under the Muslim Educational Society, approved by Government of Kerala and affiliated to the Mahatma Gandhi University.
ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി കോളേജ്
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar Emerging Womanism-Rising Above Gender Constraints conducted by Women's Forum of MES College Erumely in association with IQAC of MES College Erumely. Despite the progress made by our country, there remains some elements of gender inequality. Maybe socio-cultural prejudices and stereotyping are the main constraints of women participation in the spheres of political and economic programs. For this webinar, we have here with us our resource person, Dr. Molly Joseph, a well-renowned poet and writer, also an international jury. She is also a retired head of the Department of English, St. Xavier's College for Women, Aluva. Mrs. Rama Devi A, Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator of MES College, Erumely. Mrs. Asha Jason, Women's Forum Coordinator. Mrs. Kavita PD, CDC Director. Mrs. Anita Matthew, Women's Forum Assistant Coordinator, and above all, participants from all over the world. Let's start the program by a silent prayer.
ആലം ദയാലുവായി ദാക്ഷിണ്യശാലിയായി വാഴുന്നോരീശ്വരൻ തിരുനാമത്തിൽ നിഖില ലോകങ്ങൾക്കുമേകരക്ഷകനാകും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും പരമകാരുണ്യവാൻ കരുണാനിധിയേ വിധി പറയും ദിവസത്തിനേകാധിപനേ നിയതമാരാധിപ്പൂ ഞങ്ങളങ്ങയ മാത്രം സതതം സഹായമായി തീർപ്പതും തിരുമുമ്പിൽ നയിക്കേണം ഞങ്ങളെ നേരായ മാർഗത്തിൽ നിന്നനുഗ്രഹപാത്രമായോർത്തൻ മാർഗത്തിൽ അങ്ങയാൽ കോപിക്കപ്പെട്ടോരുടെ വഴിയല്ല സന്മാർഗഭ്രഷ്ടരുത്തൻ വഴിയിലുമല്ല ആലം ദയാലുവായി ദാക്ഷിണ്യശാലിയായി വാഴുന്നോരീശ്വരൻ തിരുനാമത്തിൽ നിഖില ലോകങ്ങൾക്കുമേകരക്ഷകനാകും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും.
May I request Mrs. Asha Jason, Women's Forum Coordinator, for a formal welcome. Over to you, Asha.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, all. Myself, Asha Jason, Women's Forum Coordinator, MES College, Erumely. Warm welcome to our webinar, Emerging Womanism, Rising Above Gender Constraints. The term womanism might be new to at least some of us. We are all familiar with the term feminism. The term womanism was coined in 1983 by Alice Walker, an American poet, activist, and author of the critically acclaimed novel The Color Purple. Feminism strives for gender equality. Feminism strives for gender equality. Womanism aims at gender reconciliation. Womanism, as a social work framework, separates itself from feminism. It celebrates womanhood, aims at achieving and maintaining inclusivity in the society. Gender equality is not a women's issue, it's a human issue. It affects all of us. Now, our institution, MES, got sprouted from the seed of women education also, educate and empower, by our founder, Dr. P.K. Abdul Ghaffur Sahib. We are all fortunate to be a part of this institution. MES College Erumely have a strong cell for girls, Women's Forum, which is constituted in the year 2000 and functioning effectively for the upliftment of girl students of our college, conducting various activities, competitions, orientation programs, webinars, etc. Now, let me enter into my duty to welcome you all to this webinar. Today, we are really fortunate to have such an eminent resource person to preside our session. Dr. Molly Joseph, poet, writer, international jury for international literary competitions, has won several accolades and awards. More than that, she got retired as a professor and head of the department English from St. Xavier's College, Alua, Women's College, Alua. And I'm really proud to say that I'm an alumni of that particular college, and Molly Madam was my favorite English professor then. A lot more to tell about her. My fellow colleague, Mrs. Anita Matthew, Assistant Coordinator Women's Forum, will introduce her to the gathering in detail. We welcome you, Madam, to this webinar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Emma, we have such an inspiring personality, Mr. Mahin Emma, Principal, MES College, Erumely. Sir, you are indeed an inspiration to all those who come to you. A warm welcome to you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Mrs. Kavita PD, Director, CDC, a very vibrant member who coordinates all the forum and club activities of our college in a well-disciplined way. Ma'am, I welcome you to this function. Now we have Mrs. Rama Devi, the Vice Principal and Coordinator of IQAC, who was the real inspiration of this webinar. Our college have conducted more than 30 webinars under her guidance. Ma'am, a warm welcome to you also. Mrs. Sheba Mikkel, Dean of Students Welfare, is also an inevitable part of our webinar series. Actually, she was the first coordinator of. Also, I extend my gratitude to IT cell members for all the support. The success of the webinar is its participants from various parts of. We have a lot of.
MES in general and especially our college is very much interested in empowering women. Women's Forum is always ready to give support, legal awareness and self-defense classes, etc., etc., to uplift the women community. Today, IQAC, in association with Women's Forum, organizes a national webinar for emerging womanism rising above gender constraints. It is a very relevant topic since there are so many constraints, restrictions in our society which hold back the women to reach equality. Now, things have changed a lot. Still, we have to move further to achieve equity. I hope this webinar will give a light in this direction. We have fortunate enough to get an eminent resource person, Dr. Molly Joseph, former HOD, Department of English, St. Xavier's College, Aluva. We are all eager to hear her views. So I am extremely happy to inaugurate this webinar. Have a wonderful session. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Mrs. Anita Matthew, Assistant Coordinator of Women's Forum, for introducing the chief guest to us.
Dr. Molly Joseph had her doctorate in post-war American poetry. She retired as the head department of English, St. Xavier's College, Aluva, and served as Professor Communicative English at ISAT, Kerala. She writes travelogues, poems, and short stories, has published 10 books of poems. She travels widely, attending national and international poetic fests, and has won several accolades and awards, which include Wordsmith Award 2018 and India Women Achievers Award instituted by Asian Literary Society, New Delhi. She writes in international journals like Spillwords, Literary Vibes, and contributes to reputed global anthologies like Musings During a Time of Pandemic and to many international online journals and magazines. She has been awarded Pratibha Samarpanam by Kerala State Pensioners Union, Pratibha Puraskaram by Chitrashala Film Society, Kerala, and Vijaya Vasudeva Puraskaram for Poems in Malayalam. Dr. Molly Joseph has been conferred Poesis Award of Honor as one of the international juries for the international literary competitions conducted by poesisonline.com in Bangalore. 2 of her books were released at the reputed Tisrach International Festival of Poetry in Kenya, conducted at Kisii University by the Deputy Ambassador of Israel, His Excellency Eyal David. Dr. Molly's interests lie primarily in poetry, both
Can you hear? Any problem?
No, ma'am.
Hello?
Your net connection is very poor.
Net connection is poor. Come on, I am going to do something about it. The voice is fading, is it? Hello?
No, ma'am, it is very clear.
But then why net connection is poor like? Somebody said something like that? Can I continue? Hello?
No, ma'am, you can continue.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So, yes, somebody is, I think some individual positions they are not getting. I think that you have to do yourself. Here I am continuing
Okay,
my
madam.
presentation. Okay. Yes. So what I wanted to say was, these days, I think when others are unmuted, there can be more clarity. Please see to it that other voices are unmuted. Okay. Others are muted. Okay. I hope the muting part is done by the coordinator. Okay. Yes. Shall I continue? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you can continue, ma'am.
Yes, I can continue. Yes. So the feminism as such, kindly. students. I'm addressing the youth, the emerging youth who is going to mold the next generation, foster the next generation. Opportunities are ample. Don't simply sit and say, oh God, what is it, online class? I am getting fed up. I am bored. Not that. Find out your creative potential, how the social media is opening up, how you can do a kind of cookery thing, a baking thing, a new thing you are bringing into force. And it gives you enormous sense of satisfaction. So many writers are coming up these days because you get ample time for self-expression. So many youngsters getting so visible because days have changed so much. It's not the day when people of our generation would send an article or a poem to a magazine and wait for the divine moment when that publisher would say, okay, but the thing is you have to wait. You are kept in the waiting list. Was a situation that existed now. Times have totally changed. So these are days of your new humanist self-discovery and your proneness, and that one particular area where you can excel. And you are not bothered to impress everyone. You know, the tension with many housewives and many working women these days is, are we coming up to the standards society is expecting us? You know, the perfection, what you call phobia, is actually killing them. There is so much of tension. Am I perfect in their eyes, in my workplace, at my home front, or with my boss? Can I impress him? And you're driven by that. Basically, be what you are. Remember what your inner kernel potential is. Try to foster it. So I think I'm clear enough, and I'm moving on to the next. Statistics is not taking much of time because we are not coming to the core points. Time is fast flicking off. Statistics, you can read it yourself. I'm not going to read it and wasting time. And what you notice is, you know, female feticide is on the rise. Female feticide. Just because a girl It was not merely the voting power or political space that mattered. Even within the domestic space, you felt very bad about it. And in 1879, there comes Ibsen, the Norwegian playwright, writing The Doll's House. What is a doll's house all about? There, Oswald, the man, treats his wife, Nora, as a doll. You know, she's provided everything. He's happy decorating her. He's happy exhibiting her in public space. Looking after everything, physically, I mean, the physicality part, her looks, her health, everything. You can never say he's not looking after her. But there is another inner self within a woman that craves for bringing out the essential qualities she possesses. Her qualities of creativity, the qualities of her own individuality as a woman, which she needs to showcase, or she needs to bring to light, not even showcase, that's the wrong word. Showcasing was happening in Doll's House. So the net result is, Nora walks out of the marital life in Ibsen's play, Norwegian play. I am something more than a mere doll of yours. You think you can give me best food to eat, you can give me the best dress to wear, or you are my provider of everything and you are interested in exhibiting me as a doll. No, I am no longer your doll. And she bangs the door against that period, that Victorian kind of complacent morality. The bang of the door was resonating in women's psyche in 1878. Very seminal play. There, the interiority of women, the hidden, suppressed, subjugated interiority of women was coming out. And when you go to Virginia Woolf in 1822 and 1941, you might have, my literature students here might be more familiar with it. She joined the radical feminists who went to such an extreme that they felt even maternity, you know, why we keep it as a burden, maternity. We decide when we become mothers. You know, that level. Even mothering was contested. But what Virginia Woolf spoke in 1882 was what I noted in the beginning. My dear young generation of students, economic independence. A woman should have money and a room of one's own if she is to write in fiction, she says. If she is to survive in these troubled times. I would say in these COVID times even it has become all the more important. Jobs are getting scanty. I know I have a maid who is working and she is the one breadwinner of the family. Whereas the menfolk, they have lost their jobs, trying for it. See, that is the situation that has been there for long. You know, with one man's income to provide proper education, facilities for your children, you need the women folk also to come forward and do that work, share it. So that was a radical feminist stance which they built up from Virginia Woolf and so many others. But then, was it all about all that? I will tell you, see, the contestation, the feminist aesthetic was just, I would say, oscillating between so many tensions. There were, 1 minute, let me go on to the next slide. It's not overlapping, but it helps me supplement the thought that I'm giving you here. 1 minute. Oh, yes. I'm just telling you how it is important that the problematics of equality difference debate became so popular, so much of a matter of contention, where I have quoted from Miles, who says, see, there is a kind of housewifeism she was talking about. We'll come to her later. After Simandi, where I refer to all these people. See? A housewife, the multitasker thing. Even in industry is requiring it now. So many IT professionals, women folk working. How they are managing? They are doing the work, double the work, triple the work at home, minding their children. No maid is there to help them because of COVID. And how do they do the multitasking? Yet they do. That is the power of the woman. So, the kind of, there emerged in radical feminism, serious argumentation with regard to mothering even. Some people said, even now, I'm not against one individual person saying, I don't want to become a mother. It is her stance. She's not in a position now. That is her right. There is nothing. But radical feminists went to the extent of taking it as the privileging point to question man. One side. Others said we should valorize it because you are like Mother Nature, having that special capacity to bring out a life, to nurture it, foster it, with what all advances in technology or whatnot. The set of skills with which a woman can nurture, the skill set she needs for care and all. No man, to that extent, I don't know, some men may contest it. It is essentially a woman's privilege. Hello, I hear voices in between. I hope I am clear enough. Hello, I hope I am audible enough.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible enough.
Some disturbances I heard. Okay, fine. So I was talking to you about that liberal feminism and the extent to which it had grown, and where, as I told you about that housewifeism that coined by him, present industry also requires it. Like the industry requires women to be the products of this. And women who are working now have been put to use in multiple ways, but she proves that she's capable enough. But isn't it going to that level of a kind of exploitation at work front, at home front, at social front? That's a question, serious question we have to address in this postmodernist, post-structuralist times, where there is a serious contestation whether the equality difference debate should be deconstructed. Is it equality we are looking for? No, we are not equal in that sense. We have something more in us, the difference. But is it like something like a gender complementarity? Something like light exists, so there is darkness. Man exists, there is woman. Okay. Slowly, while the feminism was at its peak, with the white women, white feminism was emerging, and the so-called really marginalized black women were sidelined. So there emerged what you call later the third wave, which continues in the fourth wave, if you call it waves, black feminism. My dear friends, I can talk to you about the pangs of that black feminism. I won't call it black colored feminism because I had been to Kenya once in connection with my poetry workshop to be conducted in Kisii University. Because from personal experience, when you speak, it carries more of conviction. And I found many university students, just like you students in universities now, my girl students, how privileged you are when I talk to you about them. Boys were also there. It was like performing poetry. There were, students were reading out poems, but it was poems coming like fire and flame alive before you because there was so much of suppression their parents had undergone through colonialism, domination through different ways, denied opportunities, suppression and exploitation. So it was like a ball falling down with resilience coming up, those poems. So impressed. It put us in, the poets in goosebumps. The next day, We were taken to those tribal areas, the Migori tribe, from where they say Barack Obama himself hailed. He belongs to that tribe. And the original situation of the tribe there. I went over, we were taken there. And when you go there, they come in gangs, shouting, howling, making those kinds of cat cries. These women. And one poet is taken to one area, another poet is taken to another area. Only women folk. I wondered where the men folk have gone. Some people connected with the tribal group, tribal men, were there directing it, navigating it. And I get into that house, You can call it a house, you can call it a hut. It's like a bamboo thing which can fly off if the weather is or the wind is harsh and unkind. And there, here girls minimum marriage period is 18, whatever. 14, 15-year-old young mothers. I am not exaggerating. I saw with my own eyes. With a swollen stomach, some are pregnant. One child is there already, the elder one. And second one is also there. The third one is inside her womb. And I ask her, where is your man? She says, I manage this. Ma'am, I have to manage. He has left. He has taken to drugs. He has taken to drinks. And of course, there is no job here. What can we do? We work in some of these sugarcane fields somehow. And that is only enough work for women. And with the limited money, I try to fill up these stomachs. And then the elder child, I ask him, do you go to school? Harsh reality staring at you. And the mom says, yes, ma'am. There's a fire in her eye. I want to see that my children are not going to suffer the way we suffer. You have to walk along 2 miles, 3 miles. But I make it particular. He is going to school. And I asked that little one, I can't know their language. The university students are with who know their language, interpreting it to us, telling, look, what do you want to become, my son? What is your dream? I ask him, looking deep into those beautiful looking eyes. He says, ma'am, I want to see that when the next monsoon arrives, my mother is not crying her heart out, holding us under the thick blanket because rain would fall and your roof will fly. I want not to see my mother cry in such a helpless way. Look at the stark reality. See? Of course, they have governments. Colonial white man is gone. The tribal government, their representatives are there. But the one at the hay, they cater to only their tribal parts. There is more of differentiation there. Interest gone to their side. Efforts are being made, of course, that is there. I'm not belittling that. But still the average situation. And as a poet, I'm really touched. I look at the yard where the mother hen is. She's also growing poultry to make her living. Mother hen is pecking food to little ones, moving around, cackling. Yes, here was the mother hen of a girl-child mother, I would call it. Maternity forced upon her. She also had dreams. But where are her dreams? These are the dreams writers like Toni Morrison or people like, Alice, the one who, Color Purple, the one who wrote Color Purple, Alice Walker was speaking about. to get out of the rut. So what they do, they make a community of their own. They go for jogging, they do some common cookery thing, or they do some common painting thing, some study music. You are opening up newer and newer areas of shared feminine experience, exploring it. And that way, women are outgrowing the so-called framework that had been posited by patriarchy. I wrote a Malayalam poem once attacking it. And some of my poems really do refer to this aspect, where, it starts this way. I'm not quoting it without, because it takes time. ഒരു സ്ത്രീയാവുന്നത്. I was just following that Simone de Beauvoir's thought, and I was arguing how it can catapult on you. ഒരു സ്ത്രീയാവുന്നത് നീ ജനിക്കുമ്പോഴല്ല, അവർ നിനക്ക് വേണ്ടി തീർപ്പ് കൽപ്പിച്ചു വെച്ച ചട്ടക്കൂടിലേക്ക് നീ വളരുമ്പോഴാണ്. That is the contemporary situation. The kind of situation, in one way, permutation or combination, you and I are experiencing. But you want to get out of it. And we get ample opportunities these days. That's what I'm telling. It's not a negative howling despair, no. What we can do in the situation to get out of it, that really, really matters. And now, living consciously, cutting across gender and race. You're living consciously. It's a big word, huge, heavy hanging word. You are a woman and you are exploring your space, which actually you believe you have every right to possess. But it's not like just saying, I am against matrimony, or I believe in abortion law, I believe in contraception, radical feminism to that level also. There were the points of freedom and liberation they pointed at. But look at ecofeminism, where you are equating yourself with nature. The mother nature accommodating all, having space for all, fostering. Even you cut off a tree, from the stump, there arouses a sprout, which later grows up. Despite the ravages, destruction that is happening, you have in you the potential to sprout, even on arid plains. That is the woman we have to celebrate. And I would say, reframing our purpose, yes, that also is needed for a new womanism. It's not the stereotype of a woman you want to be. I'll show you a video later. So many women who have been haunted like anything, who felt they were going to be big zero in their life because adversities and challenges were devouring them in. They struggled. Living consciously, you reframed your purpose. After all, there is only one life for all of us. I tell my students during orientation classes, do you know what YOLO philosophy is? You live only once. Only one life. And the moments that we get, we are grabbing it to make meaning. Otherwise, what is the point in living? Oh, I am like that. What can I do? You are being very negative. You are being very destructive about yourself. You kill your own happiness. What is the point in it? You live powerfully while you live, living consciously. Reframing your purpose. Forms shifted to spiritual and religious aspects of feminism. Political activism came out, and then the wholeness of ecology, preservation of nature, natural resources. I was in Kenya and I went to that place where Wankai Maathai, you might have heard of it, heard of her, the one who started the Green Belt movement, planting, it says, so many billion trees and making an area a rich green belt. And when the wood was cut, so many women, activists of hers, were holding their hands around the tree and protecting it because they felt it was cutting away their individuality. You become one with the tree, ecology. And then life nurtures, flourishes. That is the potential we have. So these days, we have a vital role as new women, new women of the century, my dear students, to make this place a better place to live. Conferences on women's rights in Cairo and Beijing were held in 1990s. It saw the multicultural feminism on the rise. Women of all categories coming up and fighting for the common cause. Women to be valued with equal worth as men in social, economic, and legal senses. Equal while accepting the natural differences. That is it. Your maternity is not a point for you to be subjugated. No. Your maternity is your power within, which you powerfully assert. And tell the world, look world, you can thrive through me. Help me grow. And it's not cringing and going after the help me grow, showing them how we can grow. We can allow others to grow. Let men also grow, I would say. In complicity, gender complementarity. What it's not like one is there because the other is there. We complement each other. And you might have heard of the poets like Maya Angelou, the poet in 1920 and 2014. No, she said, I emerge, I the woman. Very seminal book, collection of poems. I know why the caged bird sings. We can sing. You try to cage me, but I can be uncaged. You can never ever crush. There was one that Pakistani poet who said, especially if you go through Afghan writing, Khalid Husseini, so many women novelists also. They write about the average plight of those women there, Shia, Sunni, where women are virtually crushed with the power of masculine votes. You are not allowed to speak. You are forced to marry an older man who marries so many times. So many things, There are all things that do happen in other parts of the world, where the powerful boot of suppression is actually crushing women like it. But then they rise. At SAC meet, I could meet so many women poets from all these areas. It was wonderful. Even you gather more insights through these kind of exposures and experience. That was a time when there was so much of, this extremism was taking place in Afghan poets and all writing, and they were reciting. But then after the recitation, there comes a phone call, there is a bombing happening there in that side. And they grow and, they share with us. This is the reality we live in, dear people. They were telling us. While we are reciting, the bomb is exploding there. Our women and children are left helpless. So that is the, difficult world we live in. So many things happen in different parts of the world. Not only women folk, men folk, children become an easy target. So this is the complexity with which we live in, but wherein we are the ones to mold, to rise up like phoenix from fire, to gather strength from our limitations, facing our challenges with an essential humanist perspective. You can. I think I can. I know I will. Let it be our credo when we are moving on in social space, in the space of family, in political space. Yes, I am happy, so many people are coming up into the village panchayats, so many legislature. Look at our Shailaja teacher doing wonderful job. We have it in us, the capacity to make the world a better place to live. I think I have covered up almost all the sections, done justice. But before I go to the video, which is the last part, the shared reality, before that, With your permission, let me read a poem I wrote. Let me read a poem I wrote, some few lines only. Afterwards, we go into the video. Okay? Can I?
Okay, madam.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay, madam.
Sure. The poem that is much appreciated by many, especially women who had some problems, and I sent it to them. They said, ma'am, it empowered us. So here is it for you, my dears. Oh, woman, you have it in you to stand out against the wind when it blows harsh on you, merciless, derailing, devastating. Oh, woman, you have it in you to stand out against the wind when it blows harsh on you, merciless, derailing, devastating. No, not alone you are. Or what if you are alone? In you lie the power to sprout, even on arid plains. In you lie the power to sprout, even on arid plains. Renewing in tandem with the eclipse of the moon, anew, afresh on yonder crested hills. The moon fades for some time, but comes up anew, afresh. Likewise, woman, you may be fading for some time, maybe. That is the catapulting effect, but then you emerge. You have it in you to stand out against the wind, undaunted when it blows harsh on you. So with this, I think I am keeping on to the time. We will just move on to that video, which some of you might have seen, I believe. But I felt for the youngsters, it can be very inspiring and empowering because these are the living realities around us. I hope you get it. 1 minute. Mone, 1 minute. Video has to be playing. 1 minute. Yeah. Good.
Nobody supported me, trust me. Nobody supported me. Nobody supported me, trust me. Nobody supported me. It was only me who supported myself. I'm a lower middle class girl. Slum, slum housing boards. So I was from that place. And my father died when I was 8 years old. So it was my mother who actually took care of everything. I never felt that I missed my father in my life. She was a fighter. My first brother passed away when I was, say, about 12 or 13 years old. He died because he was in a relationship with a girl, and they said it was suicide. Days passed by, and then after few years, my brother, my second brother, he died in a road accident. So then it was very hard, very, very hard. Every girl, when they see some situation like this, they want to really support their family in some or the other way. So I was doing my 11th standard. So that was my first job in my entire life. And I earned 225 rupees. Then slowly I started doing whatever I could. Like I was doing events, then I was hosting birthday parties where I could get 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, 1500 rupees. And I was getting like, okay, 5000 rupees a month. But is it sufficient to run a family? I
to face so many criticisms for my looks, for my color, for my personality, the way I didn't carry myself really well. There are few directors who actually told me, "Ningala heroine material illa," which means I'm not heroine material at all. I never got an opportunity to act opposite a big star. Then I decided, okay, I'm not getting any offers for opposite big heroes. Okay, let me just be hero for my own film. And I told my director, just trust me, give me one opportunity, please. In a nambi kudunga. I will definitely be able to do justice to that role. Like I started doing so many female-centric films, and I have almost 6 to 7 films which I am playing the hero in the film. It is in your hand that you have to protect yourself. Nobody is going to come like Superman or superhero is going to come and protect you. So we have to protect ourselves. So I have struggled all my life by myself. And I think if I can do it, anybody here can do it.
I think my session is almost over. And Asha, now what is to be done? Yes.
Okay, madam.
Mm.
Really thank you madam, for your informative, impressive words. Really, it's very pressing to the audience and touching, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
This video is also very touching. And
Okay.
may I invite Mrs. Asha Jason for the Q&A session? Asha?
Chat box.
Or to Asha?
Thank you. Thank you, Shiba ma'am.
Okay.
Molly ma'am?
Yes, I am here, Asha.
See, we have got certain queries.
Okay.
Shall I ask? Ma'am?
You can put it across. That's better. You can put, because I need to sort out the chat box and all that. You need take a few and focus on something that actually gives a picture of the current contemporary lived reality. I asked them to share their views on the lived realities of the day. Yes.
So, what more measures can be taken to increase the gender equality among students, researchers, etc.?
Educational part. What is it?
Ma'am?
Yes. Can you repeat the question?
What more measures can be taken to increase gender equality among students, researchers, like?
And let me counter it with another question. Is there any gender equality seriously existing between students doing research topic? Are women folk now denied? Maybe I am in the dark about it. Is it like you are not allowed to work on certain topics? Women are not allowed to work on certain topics for research and all? If at all that exists, so far as, because I was there in academics for about last 41 years.
Yes.
What I feel is, if you want to take up a topic for your research and your growth, I think basically I was the head of the department. Now then suggesting the topics of PG students and later research scholars also. We felt what is socially relevant should be taken up. And if at all it is there, it is a kind of change in mindset that matters. Maybe as an HOD, I was selecting topics for my postgraduate students. If I am carrying the mindset of an old, the old called, what you call patriarchal form of a...
It's not like that.
Is that? Then what else is the purview that is being suggested? I would like to know the scope of the question. I mean, these days it is to opened out. You can work on any serious area of research that have come to... For example, so many works are coming on concerning, feminist, not feminist thing is already gone. New way of thinking of feminism and how You carve for a space for women, especially in literature, I can tell you. Any number of topics, there is nothing like you are being sidelined. I seriously don't feel it. If at all, if that person has felt it, she can explain. That is why I said maybe there are certain areas I am not in the know-how, especially being a poet and a writer. That is my answer. I seriously believe there is no such thing that exists. If at all it exists, the mindset have to be changed, especially our board, syndicate, whatever. There should be powerfully that kind of opening up happening. That is my take on it. Thank you for such a thing, so that I'll just look at that area later, because such was an area that I had overlooked. Now that the query has come up, I thank you. It's an area that I have to focus on. Thank you for the question. Okay.
Ma'am. Shall I move to next question?
Yes.
What does a feminist actually believe? What does a feminist actually believe?
What does a feminist actually believe? You might have heard of what I was talking so far. As I told you, feminism took its different shapes as per the different races and nations and all. Feminism had its own definitions in their own milieus. But essentially, all of us believe that you should be treated as on an equal, no, as I said, I suggested a different footing where you feel your role is important in this universe, especially this COVID situation, mind you. You as a mother, you as a wife, you as a girl child, bring luster to the world around. So the essential cadaver feminism is, I would say, like your difference, surmounting even equality. There was a time when equality was the mantra, yes, equity. But how far you can be equal? You are biologically different. Maybe equality in labor environment, income. I told you about a maid of mine who would work much better than the man I hire. But the pity was that as per system, the man is to be paid more and the woman is paid less. So the Marxian feminists were focusing on equality because they said it is a capitalist thing filtering in the woman being exploited and men having the upper say. So on practice and principle, I made it. I would give the work to her and paid her as much as I paid the man, sometimes even more, because I knew she was running the family. So that equality in income, equality in status, these are all things essentially a womanist. I would turn it these days. I am turning to that term. Feminist was feminist. That time we were craving for, as I said, African women, suffering, suppression. They craved for freedom. Freedom again is a big term I put in within quotes. Freedom can mean freedom in so many ways. Freedom of thinking, freedom of living, freedom of choosing your own life partner, freedom of deciding when you should grow into a mother, freedom of income, freedom of choice of a religion. So it's a broad term. I don't know whether I have satisfied you, my dear. I can't read out your name.
Maybe the question was put by somebody else.
But anyhow,
ma'am, one more thing is there. How is gender related to culture?
Okay.
How is gender related to culture?
Yeah. Culture. Fine. Gender culture studies. Actually, women have been equated with nature and men had been equated with culture. Ever since this feminist discourse took place, it was there like a clash, nature-culture divide. But the thing is, latest studies show, as I said, even that is a binary that you have to deconstruct. See, gender studies, by highlighting difference, you are trying to look at the gender complementarity. And culture studies actually focus on, as like Vandana was saying, like indigenous culture is typical, just as you are a woman different from another woman. She is making that anti-global movement. She was not for globalization. That change he was fighting for. The indigenous culture, typical, you you, you when you
Molly ma'am?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Audio problem was there actually.
No, it's okay.
Now it's
Okay. You can hear me. Some fluctuation in it. Okay. So what I say is, let us not treat it as a binary or divide. Let us deconstruct it. And culture, woman is basically related to culture also. You belong, Vandana, your mode of thinking. It's not like culture tuners, men alone are not there. Feminist psyche is there within nature. Ecofeminism also echoes that. Okay. And gender, we should never ever take it as something dealing only with women. Gender includes men also. That is the gender. But gender subjugation and suppression, when it comes, such studies deal with women exploitation, suppression. But it can be made like sex complementarity should be there. Complementarity should be worked out between nature and culture. We needn't divide culture alone for men and nature alone for women. So they can be related, and newer insights on it can come out through researchers, young researchers like you, who are posing such questions, intelligent questions. Okay?
okay.
Shall we move on to?
Yes. What is the root cause of gender inequality? It is a root cause of gender
Inequality. Can you just say that, is there any kind of root cause? Women were sidelined. I mean, even when, in Malayalam literature, you read Laladambika Antarjanam period. Gender inequality not only alone is not with class division alone. Of course, tribal areas, it is there very firm, okay. But even Antarjanangal, the so-called high-class people, they kept women in a sacred place. You're not supposed to come to the front and men only discuss matters, because essentially they thought women are the ones to be kept separate. Maybe they said they were protectors, whatever. In the name of a kind of protection, when during your menstrual period you are kept separate, they say woman is supposed to take rest. Likewise, it was coming up. And slowly, it was becoming a kind of area for domination. When you felt you could seclude them in politics. When you felt you could make them only this housewifeization effect. They can be an easy target to prey, because a woman is so much worried about her children, this family. She feels so bound. So a kind of colonization was taking place in mindsets. I mean, in the metaphorical sense. And slowly, it grew to such a level that it was like exercising a control over you. I am the man, I can control. Just like war as a means of control. Later studies go that way. That is the psychology behind rape even. No? I can do it. And you women, Govinda Chami, doing it. Not alone for his sexual gratification. He felt he had the privilege point, who is Aumi after all? She's a woman. What more? That kind of an undercurrent was there in essential thinking process, and patriarchy became deep-rooted. Social systems, social taboos enforced it. The other day I was reading a live example of one Dr. Bhushan speaking. A doctor who is a practicing doctor in Delhi. She was pregnant, and it was diagnosed that she was going to have two children, girl children, female sex. Her husband was a doctor who was believing so much in religion. Some astrologer told him, no, you have to thrive only, you can thrive only if you have a baby boy. Don't ever go for baby girl. Girls. She fought against it. And she says it was real trauma for her to bear them and to bring them out and to foster them. And there was a situation, it came to court even, Dr. Bhushan's case, where she was, her mother-in-law was trying to push the child down, the girl child down from the staircase to kill her. You know, pathetic cases of that sort do exist. Social taboos. That is it, even with educated people. But she says at the end of it, I went to the court, I got divorced, and I have 2 gem of girl children with me. They are growing up. I'm empowering them. That's how the woman in her rises against her adversity. Okay, I don't know whether I satisfied your answer full, but that was my way of looking at it. Thank you for the question.
Okay, ma'am, that's all for the query session. Shall I tell you something? Ma'am?
Yes, sure, dear, sure.
After getting inspiration from your talk, one of our vibrant student, and of course she's a Women's Forum student counselor also. She's from MSW department. Her name is Vinita Rajpoika. She would like to dedicate an instant poem in Malayalam to you, ma'am. Shall I call upon?
Thank you.
Shall I call
Sure,
her?
sure. It is my pleasure, my dear. I love it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Vinita?
Good afternoon,
Vinita, you
ma'am.
are there?
Yeah, Vinita. I would
Thank you for the question, ma'am. It was just like Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, welcome. The voice is fading. Okay, fine. Now fine. Come on, Vinita. Yeah, do it. Waiting.
അടുക്കളയിലുണ്ട്, ആഴിക്കടിയിലുമുണ്ട്, ആകാശത്തിലുമുണ്ട്, അടിമനുഖത്തിനും അകത്തളത്തിനും വില നൽകുന്നു. പറന്നുയരും ഞാൻ പരുന്തിനുമധികം, അതെ ഞാനൊരു സ്ത്രീയാണ്. അനുകമ്പ വേണ്ടെനിക്ക്, ആലംബ ജീവി അല്ല ഞാൻ. ആരും മടിക്കും, ഉയരങ്ങൾ കീഴടക്കും, അതെ ഞാനും ഒരു സ്ത്രീയാണ്.
Wonderful. Yeah. That is what I thought. Soaring high. It is a wonderful poem. It is encapsulating. അതിൽ കണ്ടൻസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് പറയാനുള്ള womanism. I am so happy about it, my dear Vinita. Do you love this power of writing?
This is a token of love and gratitude from us.
Thank you so much, my dear. I am happy my words could resonate. ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ കുറെ അനുരണനങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പറ്റിയല്ലോ. കുട്ടികളെ നിങ്ങൾ ഉയർന്നു വരണം, നിറയെ എഴുതണം, ഉയർന്ന് ജസ്റ്റ് ലൈക്ക് എ റെസിലിയന്റ് ബോൾ ഫോളിങ് കമ്മിങ് അപ്പ്, കം അപ്പ്, ബിലീവ് ഇൻ യുവർ സെൽഫ്. ഈ കുട്ടിയുടെ ആ റൈറ്റിംഗ് നല്ല ഭംഗിയായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത്ര കണ്ടൻസ്ഡ് തോട്ട് വന്നേക്കണം ഉയരാനുള്ളത്. ഉയർന്ന് പറക്കുക നിങ്ങൾ കേട്ടാ. 1000 ചിറകുകളോടെ എൻ്റെ കുട്ടികളൊക്കെ ഉയർന്ന് പറക്കാനാവട്ടെ. മാമിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ ആഗ്രഹം അതാ. See, even after retirement, I am doing all this. I could have sat idle, like, what is it? I have 12 books എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. 1 Malayalam, 1 novel. You can just Google me. In Amazon, my books are there. ഈയിടെ കുട്ടികളോട് എന്തെങ്കിലും സംസാരിക്കണം എന്ന് തോന്നി. I wanted to talk to children. So I brought out a children's book with messages. And I love mostly teaching. I mean, not teaching, I would say, sharing my thoughts with youngsters. I go for orientation classes because this is what little I can do as a woman. Because the power of the word, as it was there, I believe in the power of the word, in changing, igniting mindsets. So I'm so happy. Dear MES College, the beautiful camaraderie I feel within the faculty. Asha, my student, is there. And such a wonderful camaraderie. I really enjoy the moments I had with you. Something that I would cherish. I hope this one is will be put there in the YouTube also. So that if my words can help somebody also, somebody who are interested in hearing me, that will also be a great advantage. Again, thank you all. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and especially for that wonderful poem. Thank you.
Okay, madam, once again, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. May I stand here for conveying our sincere gratitude towards all of you present and participated in this webinar and made this webinar a grand success. And it is notable that no society can achieve its potential without the full and equal participation of women and men. According to our resource person, economic freedom is the most important thing we must achieve. And first and foremost, I express my sincere gratitude towards our resource person, Dr. Molly Joseph, HOD, former HOD of Department of English, St. Xavier's College for Women, Aliva, for her thought-provoking words. I also want to say that still, like Maya Angelou will say that still I rise.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Wonderful.
So, okay, madam, with your experiences, you have shared your common shared experiences, and it's very informative and impressive. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Being with you was my pleasure. Some moments I'm going to cherish, Dr. Ramadevi. May all best happen to your college. May your IQAC come up with more and more laurels and quality kind of education. May you be able to provide more and more so that we can mold a generation of strong women. Okay.
Madam.
Thank you
Okay,
so
next
much.
time. Okay. Really, I'm not Shema Devi. I'm Shiva Michael.
Shiva. Okay, Shiva.
Okay, but let's
Okay,
thank
Shiva.
let's thank our IQAC coordinator, Mrs. Shema Devi, madam, for giving us an opportunity for this valuable webinar, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe this is one of the challenging webinars conducted by our college. And on behalf of all of us present here, I express my sincere gratitude towards Mrs. Asha Jason, Women's Forum Coordinator, for such a wonderful, informative, and impressive webinar to us. And we always remember your toil and hard work for strengthening Women's Forum and make it one of the best clubs in our college. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Okay, I also take this opportunity to convey my sincere gratitude towards Mrs. Kavita PD, CDC Director, for the support and directions given to us for conducting such a webinar. I also thank Mrs. Anita Matthew, Assistant Coordinator, for her contributions to make this webinar a grand success. Thank you, madam. Last but not least, I thank all the participants from all over the state for making this event a grand success. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, all participants. Thank you once again, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, shall we wind up?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Asha, everybody. May you have a wonderful evening.
Okay, let's go stand for national anthem.
National anthem. Okay. So bye for everyone. Yes.
Shall we leave, ma'am?
ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി കോളേജിൽ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഭാവിയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ആശങ്ക പലതായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ സുന്ദരമായ ആ ക്യാമ്പസിലേക്ക് കയറി ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ആത്മവിശ്വാസം എനിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. നല്ല സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ, സംശയമകറ്റി വെളിച്ചം പകർന്നു തന്ന അധ്യാപകർ, പുതിയ ആശയങ്ങൾ നൽകിയ ലൈബ്രറി, ഏകാഗ്രതയും നല്ല ഓർമ്മകളും നൽകിയ ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകൾ, ഡിജിറ്റൽ ലോകത്തേക്ക് പറക്കാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ച കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ലാബ്. അങ്ങനെ MES കോളേജ് എന്നെ ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണുവാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ വളരെ ഹാപ്പിയാണ്. സ്വപ്നങ്ങളെ പിന്നിലാക്കി ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ പറന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. You have to dream before your dreams can come true.
MES College, Erumely. Proposed PO, Erumely, Kottayam. Unaided Arts and Science College under the Muslim Educational Society, approved by Government of Kerala and affiliated to the Mahatma Gandhi University.
ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി കോളേജിൽ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഭാവിയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ആശങ്ക പലതായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ സുന്ദരമായ ആ ക്യാമ്പസിലേക്ക് കയറി ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ആത്മവിശ്വാസം എനിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. നല്ല സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ, സംശയമകറ്റി വെളിച്ചം പകർന്നു തന്ന അധ്യാപകർ, പുതിയ ആശയങ്ങൾ നൽകിയ ലൈബ്രറി, ഏകാഗ്രതയും നല്ല ഓർമ്മകളും നൽകിയ ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകൾ, ഡിജിറ്റൽ ലോകത്തേക്ക് പറക്കാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ച കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ലാബ്. അങ്ങനെ MES കോളേജ് എന്നെ ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണുവാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ വളരെ ഹാപ്പിയാണ്.